Welcome to this presentation on sheep and goat production by Dr. Dhaval K from GNP Sir Classes. Let's dive into the fascinating world of small ruminant farming. Sheep and goat production faces several constraints including limited feed and fodder resources, healthcare challenges, and marketing issues. These factors significantly impact the efficiency and profitability of small ruminant farming. To address these challenges, we need to improve healthcare facilities, promote common grazing lands, and encourage the use of silvipasture and hortipasture. Additionally, selecting breeding males on merit and involving rural women in rearing backyard ram lambs can make a significant difference. The primary focus of small ruminant farming should be on fattening sheep and goats rather than wool production. Different breeds are valued for mutton and wool, with India producing some of the best carpet wool. Goat breeds like Pashmina are known for their soft and warm fiber. These goats are raised in high-altitude regions and can yield a significant amount of milk and fiber, making them valuable for both meat and wool production. In India, 32% of farmers practice temporary sheep migration. Interestingly, the net return per animal per year is slightly higher for non-migrant sheep, indicating the potential benefits of stable farming practices. Genetic improvement is crucial for enhancing the productivity of sheep and goats. These animals are dual-purpose, providing both milk and wool, and can thrive on uncultivable wastelands, making them highly versatile. Traits like mutton and wool production, prolificacy, and birth weight of lambs are economically important. Understanding these traits can help in improving the overall productivity and profitability of sheep farming. The age of the dam and the sex of the lamb significantly impact their growth and quality. Mature dams produce heavier lambs, and post-weaning weight gain is highly heritable, making selection crucial for better yields. Fleece characteristics contribute to 20% of the income from sheep enterprises. High wool weight, long staple length, and uniform fibers are desirable traits, and avoiding wool blindness is essential for quality production. Heritability and repeatability of economic traits vary among breeds. Traits like weaning weight and fleece value are highly heritable, while others like type and conformation have lower heritability, influencing breeding decisions. Genetic correlations exist between fiber diameter, clean fleece weight, and staple length. Negative correlations between weaning weight and staple length highlight the complexity of breeding for multiple traits. Selecting breeding stock involves evaluating individual performance and family averages. Progeny testing and culling based on the first lamb crop are essential practices to improve traits like weaning and yearling weights. Effective selection requires identifying animals with favorable traits accurately. Focusing on economically important traits and applying consistent selection pressure can enhance the overall quality of the breeding stock. Maintaining seed stock flocks through outbreeding and mild inbreeding can bring desirable improvements. However, intense inbreeding can lead to decreased fertility and vigor, highlighting the need for balanced breeding strategies. Mild line breeding and crossbreeding in commercial flocks can maximize productivity. Ensuring good wool and lambs from the same flock and managing exotic inheritance can improve fleece quality and economic returns. Goats are valuable for both milk and meat production. Breeds like Jamunapari and Beetal are promising for crossbreeding, while the Angora goat is renowned for producing quality mohair, a valuable fiber. Good breeding animals should have a strong and straight top line, well-developed fore and hind quarters, and a muscular loin. Males should exhibit vigor and muscling, while females should have an attractive carriage and graceful walk. Feeding sheep primarily involves roughage, which lowers feeding costs. They can graze on various plants, but their diet needs supplementation with grains and oil cakes, especially before the breeding season to improve ovulation and lambing rates. A flushing ration for sheep may include a mix of legumes, grasses, and grains. Proper feeding and exercise are crucial to prevent excess fat deposition and ensure the overall health and productivity of the flock. During the breeding season, ewes require a consistent flushing ration. Early and mid-pregnancy are less critical, so no extra nutrition is needed. Grazing on good pasture and a mix of sorghum silage and legume hay will suffice. Ad libitum maize or sorghum fodder with oil cakes and stubble grazing supplemented with oil cakes is recommended. In late pregnancy, supplementing with green fodder is necessary. Rapid fetal growth requires energy to prevent toxemia or ketosis, so molasses or grains should be fed. At lambing, reduce grain allowance but provide quality roughage. Gradually increase feed post-lambing, and wheat bran and barley in a 1:1 proportion is excellent. Lactating ewes need a ration supplemented for adequate milk production, including good hay, silage, and grain. From weaning until flushing, poor quality pastures can be utilized as nutrient requirements are less critical. Rams for breeding should graze with ewes or have a concentrate mixture if separated. Good pasture sustains milk production, and lambs should be supplemented with grains and oil cakes if pastures are poor. Early weaning at 2-3 months is beneficial. Creep feeding for early weaners and orphans involves cracked grains initially, followed by crimped and rolled grains. High-quality pasture or legume hay in pellet form is essential. A ration with 12% DCP is recommended, and lambs up to 8 weeks need milk and dehydrated lucerne pellets before transitioning to grains and oil cakes. Recommended rations include a mix of maize, oats, barley, and lucerne hay, with variations including groundnut cake and vitamin supplements. Feeding from weaning to market requires a balanced grain mixture, and sheep should graze in compartments to balance the load. Goats can graze on very short grass due to their mobile upper lips and prehensile tongues. 2/3 of their energy needs should come from roughages, with a mix of leguminous and green grass. Mature goats need about 5 kg of green fodder daily, and their dry matter intake varies by region and type. Goats require 413 kJ per day per kilogram for maintenance, with protein needs varying. Efficiency of ME for lactation is around 70%. Kids should suckle for the first 5 days, then milk quantity is gradually reduced over 3 months. From the second week, goats need a ration with 20-24% DCP and 70% TDN, with milk feeding stopping at the end of the 3rd month. Grower and yearling does need specific concentrate amounts, and pregnant and lactating goats require additional concentrate and green fodder. Reproduction management involves selecting breeds based on market demand, operation type, and breeding program. Males should have faster growth rates and good health, while females should have regular reproduction and good mothering ability. Consider cost, quality, and climate conditions. Breeding and lambing seasons vary by region, with temperate sheep being seasonally polyestrous and tropical goats breeding year-round. Main breeding season is September-October, with off-season breeding in March-April and off-season lambing in August-September. Males should be fed extra rations 6 weeks before mating, with daily concentrate. Health and semen viability should be checked, and physical exams conducted. Trim feet, deworm, and shear males 2 weeks before breeding season. Additional concentrate is needed 6 weeks prior to breeding. Females are most productive at 3-4 years of age and should be tested for health and soundness. Flushing for 15-30 days increases estrus and conception rates, decreases early embryonic mortality, and increases ovulation. Daily concentrate mixture is recommended. Estrus stimulation involves using vasectomized males with females 2 weeks before breeding. Estrus synchronization requires 1 male for 30-40 females. Females should mate at 70% of adult body weight, with puberty marked by sperm in ejaculate. Estrus cycles repeat every 16-21 days. Estrus lasts 24-36 hours in ewes and 34-38 hours in does. Ewes and does with multiple ovulations are in heat longer. Ewes show heat signs in the presence of a ram by rubbing, circling, sniffing, and tail wagging. Outward signs of heat include vulva reddening, tail wagging, mounting, seeking males, frequent bleating, and standing for mating. Males are attracted by various sensory cues and show aggressive behavior. Identifying females in heat involves using an intact male fitted with aprons or a teaser ram. Ovulation occurs 25-30 hours after estrus onset in ewes and 30-36 hours in does. Breeding 12-14 hours after heat onset gives higher conception rates. Mating methods include natural and artificial techniques. Housing should have optimal air temperature, humidity, and wind velocity, with a length of overhang of at least 0.751 meter. Space requirements vary by age group. Shelter dimensions should not exceed 12 meters in breadth, with specific height requirements. Various buildings are needed for different purposes, and dipping is done to eradicate ectoparasites before shearing. Points to consider for dipping include avoiding dipping pregnant ewes, not dipping on rainy days, and ensuring proper preparation and timing. Rams should not be dipped during breeding season, and soiled wool should be removed before dipping. Chemicals used in dips include lindane, DDT, pyrethrin, arsenic sulfide powder, coal tar creosote, nicotine, and tobacco. Dipping tanks should have specific dimensions, and spraying should be in fine mist form. Shearing involves placing the sheep on its rump against the shearer's knee. Thank you for watching. Please share, comment, like, and subscribe to GNP Circlasses official YouTube channel.